Maybe.
I'm very afraid. We need to
Oh,
go
I
test
don't
run.
think the note said he made the gun.
He's developed one. Yeah, no,
he was
you know
given the gun.
You know
He's
who
been
I'm thinking of is someone none of our characters would know, but Nate Xerxes apprentice enemy guy. I don't remember his name, Nate. I apologize. That is what is coming to mind for me from a meta perspective.
Karai.
Karai?
Karai, yeah. He wasn't an
Karai?
artificer, though.
Oh,
Well,
really?
I mean, he could have been, I guess. Not when Xerxes knew him.
Gotcha.
Also, the dragons may just not have a terminology.
Yeah, that's true. What they call an artificer could be different.
It'd be a gnome. A certain gnome we once knew.
Oh my god.
Also true.
never knew he was packing.
Who
And
knows?
just to clarify, this thing was being sent to Zhao.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is from Cyrax. Chief War Engineer.
The Sapphire.
And it's coming from the foundry at Fort Kestrel. Going to Greyforge Armaments Division. So
to invade North.
Yeah, they're working on gem infusions in Greyforge, whatever that means. And they're working on guns at Kestrel.
Well, we kind of have an idea of what that means. The gem. I mean, we can do more of this once we're out of danger. But like the gem Belgon has, I think, is case in point of probably an example of gem infusion, right?
I don't remember what you have. Oh yeah,
I have a little. Sorry, I should. Yeah. What you can't. I forget you can't see my character sheet anymore, Mike. I have an emerald. I have an emerald gemstone that he took off one of the Dragonborn on the prison caravan, and it has 6 charges, now 4. And I can basically cast Mind Sliver, Detect Thoughts, or Mind Spike with it.
Yikes. Okay, I think we should get out of here.
Yeah.
How are we getting the boxes out? How big are they?
Carrying them. We can carry them. We just can't get them in
like this.
Okay.
They're just too big to
fit in the mouth of the bag.
Yeah, it just doesn't quite. You try and stretch the bag a little bit to. Dimensions just aren't adding up.
Braille's like, let's just dump them in. She doesn't know what they are. Just a bunch of loose ammunition in the bag holder.
I mean, our characters. I mean, Belkon would probably support that. Of like, that's way more slide than just walking out of a warehouse with boxes.
She knows one of them is emitting magic, so she'll tell whoever's carrying that one. I mean, I'm thinking I can make 2 people go invisible.
Don't we have a an invisibility potion as well in the bag of holding?
Probably. Yep. So that's 3.
I can do 2 as well. Since I didn't use any spell slots over the last hour and a half.
Nope.
Nope. You used heat metal once because you already had a concentration. You killed a guy while you were gone, Will.
That's what I'm talking about.
You killed a guy. I think we invisibility everybody.
You can get, because that's 5
I can
being
get 2.
invisible.
That'd be 5.
Yeah. And just
Saber,
not take-
Saber's outside. I mean, Saber, start running now. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah. Saber, you've been training your whole life for this. You can do it.
I mean, Saber and Estelle, if we don't want to use the potion, could go together. They're pretty, stealthy. They're
That's
trained for this.
That's a good idea.
that's also
I like
fine.
that. That way we keep the potion for. Tell you what, let's give one of y'all the potion just so you have it as a backup. If something goes wrong. Yeah, I like that. So that way we don't burn it unnecessarily.
And then the 4 invisible people can carry the crates.
Yep. I like it.
Look at us go.
Down. Boosh. Level 3.
I can't tell. Is Preston talking or is something playing in the background?
Sounds like something's playing in the background.
There's something playing in the background.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so invisible 4 people, and Saber and Estelle make a break for it, stealthing. Alright, well, let's stealth checks from everyone. People who are invisible have advantage.
Who is not invisible?
Saber and Estelle.
Are they going up ahead then?
Are you? Yeah. What are you thinking, Nate? Like going ahead, trailing behind, as you and Saber?
I think we would go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay.
Clunk, clunk,
Okay.
clunk, clunk.
I did use my psionic energy, obviously.
I mean, if we're getting out of here sneakily, I mean, freaking loud monster people.
Love that.
Take a +10.
Love that.
All right. As long as you're within 30 feet
Of me, yes.
Yes. All right.
I'm a ghost.
You all, and you can tell as you're moving through the streets, like even as you're leaving the warehouse, you hear like commotion down the road, and you see like a group of guards like get to the warehouse as you're like turning corners and getting away. And town's starting to wake up. Maybe the crest of light just on the horizon as it's getting closer to 6 a.m. And you're able to kind of shift through some of the, kind of light crowds at this point, able to get past any patrolling guards. Everything is going smoothly on the way back, save for one person. Mimi. If I can just find it. On the way back, you kind of fall behind a little bit. And as you guys are crossing through one of the squares, Mimi, you get distracted by a statue in the center of the square. Just something about it allures you.
It's holding a book.
A bronze statue appears to be dedicated to a dragonborn standing nearly 10 feet tall. The dragonborn is dressed in elaborate legionnaire armor, holding a large jeweled shield and longsword. Its skin, where its skin shows, looks like a when the bronze has been patinaed to look almost emerald. Its head is exposed, and many horns in its head, and its eyes are gazed upward, exuding a knowing confidence. A plaque at the foot holds a message written in Draconic. You can choose to. Something about it just draws you. But you don't have to stop.
What would he know about, I guess, the requirements for becoming a statue? Like, what kind of accolades does somebody have to have in order to have a 10-foot statue made of them?
For a dragonborn, it's very rare to have such an immaculate statue made of them. Dragons, they're everywhere. Statues of dragons are everywhere. You guys, you would have seen a lot in Greyforge. There's less in the Crossing, but Dragonborn, it's quite rare. What achievement? It would be something. It'd have to be huge. It'd have to be some, general winning some great battle that set the empire up for generations to come. It'd have to be, some divine gift given. Or, who knows, some architectural feat. You just know it'd have to be grand.
And the pose, is it like the Mahomes hands in the air signifying touchdown, or is it just like dignified? Does his pose, like looking up, mean something?
Very dignified, very much as if looking up into the stars.
I'll look, because I'm not a part of the, am I a part of the thought spider web that somebody has?
I know it
Who's to
was
say?
Saber. I want to say Brielle. I don't remember who the third was.
I have a vague recollection of being Mimi because of her magic abilities, but
Could be true.
I don't know that for a fact. I'm not going to pretend I have. I wrote it down.
Yeah, I don't know.
It kind of sounds right to me too, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And it is.
What's
like
you
that?
thinking there, Mimi?
And oh wait, but I can't communicate, can I?
To me, you can, yeah.
Just,
Yeah, you can
okay.
communicate just to Stell.
Yeah, I would. What's the range on it? Like Estelle's
1 mile.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Forever.
Mimi would say that he is gonna break off from the group and will be 30 seconds behind. I do want to at least read that plaque.
She would relay that to Brielle and tell you to be safe.
Brielle would like turn around and then realize, fuck. I can't see. I don't.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Read the plaque.
Read the plaque.
Written in Draconic, as all things are here. Here, in the crossing, as will the gilded path redirected Dyzen's fate. So great was his steadfast loyalty, and so kingly a gift he brought back to our glorious God Emperor, that even this lowly dragonborn was posthumously raised into the inner ascetics. Through the gift of contribution, any can rise to glory.
Have I am going to assume yes, but maybe not. Have I heard anything about Dyson?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. His name would be definitely be known to you.
Yep. I don't know what everybody's talking about. I love that.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a matter of perspective, right? You know, some people.
He's cool.
All right. I don't think there's anything else really I can do. Now that he knows who that is, maybe he'll. I think one thing it would do, at least, is when they get back, trigger a discussion about Dyson and what it what it takes in order to be kind of canonized like that, and what he did to the best of Mimi's knowledge and what Mimi knows about that tale, um, and would make sure the rest of the group kind of knew that origin story. But that's assuming I get back safely.
In peace.
Yeah.
Let's find out if everyone gets back safely when we come back from our 8:51 break.
Brutal.
Gee.
We've already had some shit happen. My goodness gracious. Guns?
Guns.
In a fantasy setting?
I'm sad we weren't recording. My face was like, when you read that. It's like, oh my god.
What's the requirement to shoot a gun?
I don't know. You may have to read the instruction book.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get trained in guns, I think.
You know
Seems
how
worth
you
it.
stop a bad dragonborn with a gun.
A good bard with a gun.
A good bard and a good dwarf with a gun. Am I right? High fives.
Uh,
Preston, when we dominating next?
Don't know, to be honest. Probably Friday or Saturday is a safe bet. Maybe
Nope.
tomorrow. Yeah, it just depends on if we get everybody on or not.
Sounds good. I always will just open rivals and just see if anybody's on.
Yeah.
Are y'all back?
Back.
All right. So, all of you traveling through this early morning as dawn approaches, mostly invisible. You'll, Brielle and whoever she made invisible, will get back. Then, depending on who Mimi invisibles, I don't know if Brielle would cast off invisible when she gets back. Safety of the
Yeah.
resistance side.
I mean, she'd probably wait and I don't know who she had, but she would confirm that they were there with her before
Say
she.
you had
That's the-
Belgon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she would wait until she knew Belgon was there. Once she knew.
And invisible Emil would show up. He might make himself known to those who are not invisible. But then Estelle and Saber will show up. And it takes, another minute. Kind of going by, you're thinking, where's everyone? Or where is the last of us? Trudging through the hideout entrance. Eventually will be Mimi. And you all find yourselves having been very successful. Guns, guns, guns.
Just making some notes. It's fine.
Gems, gems, gems. You all find yourselves back in the resistance hideout underneath the crossing with your special package in tow. Breathe a sigh of relief out from potential danger on the streets. You're greeted by the half-orc Naz, who he knew why you guys were out, but he just, kind of gives you a little bit of small talk as you enter. Ask how the raid went. And invite you guys all to have some breakfast. Catch your breaths. Anything you guys are doing? Wanting to do? Now that you have a breather again? just got a bunch of these guns.
Yeah. I mean, lay it all out and hand it to whoever needs it. Like, I don't know if Belgon needs to take it to his people or what, but
Yeah, I'll ask
show them what we did.
Assume is if ask if Virgil is back from, because he was going to go be a distraction for us if he couldn't find anyone else. So
Right. Yeah. As we'll tell you, yeah, Virgil's out. He should be back shortly, hopefully. I'm sure he'll love to see everything you guys brought in.
yeah, I'd say I'd ask if one of the Dragonborn literate could wants to start reading the book to see if they can gain any insights there. But Brielle, you said one of the cases was glowing, right?
Yeah, and she would know whose it was, so maybe she can mark it or something.
I mean, I'd say I mean, since we're laying stuff out, I'd say like let's open it and see what's actually in it. If it's any different, I mean, I think we all know it'll look the same, but yeah, let's investigate a little further.
Okay. Yeah. You investigate, open up 5 cases. They're metal cases too. I forgot to mention that. You can tell. You can tell which one is the special ones. Like there's 4 that are identical, and then there's one that has this slight blue color to the metal, with a single sapphire embedded, like in the top of the case.
I can potentially identify it if we want to know, like, its properties, I guess, specifically. I mean, we know what it says on the manifest, so if someone can figure that out, like translate it, okay, this is just some kind of like thunder version of the ammunition, that's probably good enough, but it doesn't cost anything to richly cast identify.
Yeah, might as well while we're waiting for Virgil.
Am I correct Sorry. I was going to say, am I correct in assuming that Mimi would be maybe the most mechanically interested character of us all? Is that fair to say?
That's racist.
Yeah, well, you know.
Call him like you see him.
Yeah, Mimi is has a background in inventions and discoveries, and some of those are, more esoteric, philosophical, and some are more engineering and in nature.
And it's a book.
Yeah. This wasn't a job for me.
As much as Michael is super interested in all this stuff and think this is all very cool, Brielle does not think it's cool at all. Like she has no interest in this. Other than the fact that it can be a weapon used against her. And the invasion of Morant freaks her out. Stuff like that.
Belgon definitely is, because the creation piece, like there's obviously something there, but can't read said book.
And Estelle doesn't have the background in these sorts of things to really be of much help. She's interested, as we all are, but I don't think she would lead the charge on trying to figure out what it is.
While y'all are debating whether or not it's interesting, Mimi's already on chapter 3.
That's what we wanted. That's what we wanted.
Yeah, see Mimi sitting down, thumbing through.
I'm going to join Mimi a little bit and ask if she can kind of like describe parts of, because what do they call it, a hand cannon?
In the manifest.
Yeah, manifest.
In the manifest, it's referred to as a dragoon hand artillery cannon.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna ask Mimi to kind of, if possible, start to narrate, like, as in the beginning of every great instruction book, there is, the diagram that says this is X, this is Y, and ask her to start articulating some of that out loud.
You are Mimi's best friend.
And
You are
Mimi's
my
best friend.
Can I pull the fancy box out of the bag as well?
Yeah, you can pull the fancy box out too.
I do that whenever
Okay.
I have the moment.
You're IDing the special case, right?
Yeah, a fancy small chest.
Fancy.
Oh yeah,
small
I want to ID the thunder rounds first.
Yeah. So inside those metal cases are, and this includes the special one too. You see 50 large, kind of conical metal pellets. Is the best thing. Like, you guys wouldn't know what a bullet is,
Right. Yeah.
but that's what it looks like to you. Just a bunch of these, things like this. And then inside the blue case, the special case, they're a little bit larger, and they have kind of this blue stripe around, band around the pellet. And after identifying those magical rounds, you will know this is what they do. They will deal an additional 2d8 thunder damage. And on a hit, they'll force a strength save with a DC of 15. On a failure, a creature is knocked prone and pushed back 10 feet.
Wow,
That's cool.
those are powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like Brielle's point of reference now is like, okay, so it's a loud crossbow, like, so these are like arrows, and she'll like say like they are, thunder arrows or whatever, like, and kind of explain in like, non-game terminology like what they do after identifying them. And she doesn't really have a great understand. Like, she's like taking it from the point of view of this is like a crossbow, like it shoots this somehow. She doesn't understand how it works, but through the way of the martial arts, she knows kind of how they what they deal, how they affect the world. In this, I mean, from Brielle like standpoint, like, this is probably the most she's been involved in these types of conversations since we've like sat down. Usually she's like right to her book, kind of isolating herself. But like, she's really interested right now for whatever reason. And it doesn't seem, like I said, to be because she is interested in the tech. That's definitely not it. It's definitely more to do with the fact that like this letter implies that they're gonna go after Moranth, and they're gonna use these things to make it all happen easily,
Hmm.
So she just seems to be a lot more bought in currently. So yeah, identifying these things, she like offers to translate the special package note into common so that everyone can read it. And she has not gone back to her book, which is normally the first thing she gets when she gets back.
Then you wanted to look over that fancy
Yeah.
chest.
Fancy small chest.
Fancy small chest.
What that is.
Has a minor lock on it. But if you ask Saber or Estelle, they could easily apply their craft to it.
Love that. I love that.
And inside, it's, maybe what you should expect from a fancy chest, but there's a cushion on the bottom, like a velvety, kind of greenish cushion. And kind of laying on the cushion are 10 gems. Each, spaced out, kind of placed with care, it looks like. And they're all, a little bit different.
Oh God.
You see 4 of which that look like emeralds. One of which is a different size than the other 3. You see 3 of which that look like topazes. One of which is a different size from the other 2. And you see 2 that look like sapphires. And then you see another crystal or gem. You're not really sure what it is. Kind of... Where's my description of it? Yeah. So you find this gem a little bit larger the size than the size of like a platinum coin, in the shape of a perfectly smooth oval. Its color is a gradient from pale pink on one end to a deep blue. And you'll take the time
It's gonna be like
to identify all these.
for each.
Hours.
Hours. Yeah. Brielle will do it. She'll sit in the corner.
We know Virgil's dead by the time you've identified all of them because he hasn't come back.
Virgil will come back while Brielle's doing all this. But I'll go over this stuff first and just get it out of the way.
Just because real quick, Croft.
Yeah, sure.
Because Brielle's laying these out. Are any of them the or reminiscent of the Ulfried stone?
Does Belgon know what the stone looks like?
Yes, he's seen it before.
If you don't want to describe it to people in the call, you can type it to me. I just forget what it looks like.
We have not set what it looks like. I'm basically just asking if.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have, think Arkenstone. That's what Marshall.
Very vaguely, the smooth opal kind of reminds you a little bit of it. You know it's not it, but it's just something about it reminds you of it.
Okay,
well that's different.
That was primary thing one of if it wasn't, it was gonna create an emotional reaction of like, oh, how'd they get that? But okay, that's all I needed to know.
Gotcha.
If it reminds me of it, I would ask Brielle to identify that one first.
Brielle, you identify.
I can identify whatever you want.
That one seems to give you the most trouble.
It does.
You think it's almost one thing, and then you think it might be another, and it's like while you're identifying it, like oscillates between 2 halves. And you never get like a firm idea of what it does. But it's like trips, your identify senses up. So much so, you almost thought you may think you cast the spell wrong. But then, if you cast it on another one of the gems, you learn what it does right away.
Yikes.
The three
Okay.
smaller emeralds that you do to kind of just check yourself, you identify them as flash-infused emeralds. And what those do...
I love that, Nate.
Wow.
That's good.
HM5 flash.
Nice. Brielle learned. Flash.
How I would like to direct you all to
Ooh,
a
sure.
new note
Ooh.
down in the meta section for infused gemstones. The flash, which you can holds one charge, as a bonus action used to empower a weapon you can touch. For 1 minute, the weapon deals an additional 1d8 damage with each attack or ability that uses that weapon. Damage type depends on the gemstone. You can see the damage types below. So these are emeralds, so these 3 would deal psychic
Cool.
damage. The slightly larger emerald, you would identify as a minor infused emerald, which looks incredibly similar to the one Belgond has.
Okay.
So much that Belgond,
It's the
a
same.
minor. It's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the topazes is a flash infused topaz. So you have
I'm
3
using
emerald.
the bag of holding.
I'm typing them all in right now.
Sweet.
So 3 of the emerald, 1 of the topaz. Then you have 2 minor infused sapphires,
Cool.
which I will paste what it does. Discord.
There was 2 flash topazes.
1 flash topaz, 3 flash emerald.
1 flash topaz. Got it.
So this is the
That's cool.
minor fused sapphire. Then the 2 slightly larger topazes from the small flash one are 2 minor infused topazes. And they do that. So that's what you got at the fancy box.
Wow. Sick.
Does Brielle have an inkling of what it might take to figure out what that last one does?
Does Brielle have an inkling? Michael does not. have an inkling.
Has a thought, theory. The implications are pretty scary. Does anyone have any spell slots left?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Belgond will say, I've seen a stone like this before. This is much smaller and less beautiful, but it reminds me of something. There's a special stone called the Ulfried Stone that would allow magic to be combined. And, if Mimi, you and Brielle, for example, were to both cast the same spell, like say invisibility, it would amplify the power, so to speak. I don't know if this stone does that, but I've seen something like this before.
Do I think I could attune to this stone?
Try.
Or from that description, do I think I could maybe use it as like a focus? Like if me and Mimi were to attempt this, like to both cast as to try to amplify a spell through it, like would it make sense that we would use that as a focus, or that we would need to attune to it, or I don't know. I like the idea of trying to figure it out, trying to puzzle it out.
Make an Arcana check.
I will throw something on that. I'll throw
Yeah.
a d6 on that. Why not? Why not throw a d6 on that?
That feels
Seems
better.
less bad.
Yeah.
Knowledge of the past.
You feel like just as like a plain arcane spell focus, you feel like it'd be more than that, and would be worth more trying to attune to it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll posit that. Like, if Mimi's asking, I'd say one of us can try and focus on it for a while and see if we can learn more about it.
That's a good idea.
Maybe it needs to be, synced with our, arcane bullshit.
While Brielle's doing that, I'd say the rest of us can like brief Virgil on
Yeah,
what happened if he's back. And
yeah, he'll be back for sure. He'll give you the the pleasantries of just asking how it went.
we got the shit kicked out of us pretty hard, but
You all made it back.
mission successful. Brielle took, I don't know what weapons they carry, the Dragonborn, but took
Lances.
That's right, yeah. Took
Lances.
two lances to the chest that were pretty scary to watch, but yeah, we made it back. How was your distraction run?
Worked all right. Launched it on some of the fireworks on the east side of town.
Oh yeah, we want that Wanda fireworks back. That's meta and real life.
He's handed it to it and he like flips it around. So like the
Yeah.
handle is pointed towards you
Uh-huh.
when he hands it back.
Love that. I'll be honest, Nate, I don't get that one as much.
It's a POD lyric.
Ah,
The,
that,
the youth of the nation.
are.
Yeah.
that explains why I didn't get
The
it.
youth of the
That's-
nation. We are.
That one wasn't for me.
Last time I heard a POD song.
Right now.
Right now.
So yeah, it was a successful mission overall, and we'll point to the assortment of. If you want to make a handout of the manifest, that'd be helpful as well, because I've once again forgotten what we call the.
It's in
handout.
it's in the loot.
Oh, it is cool.
It's in the bag holding.
Dragoon.
The bag. Check out the bag holding. It should be linked now.
Yep, I see it.
Like the infused
Or-
gemstone should link, and the special package note should link.
Love it. 4 dragoon. Artillery hand cannons, and we'll show him the manifest and the special note, and Belgon will just say it was successful, but I don't know if I'm happy with what we found, because the reality of what we're caught between in Kestrel and Grey Forge is quite terrifying.
Well, it's better to have this than not, I would say.
Sure, but
Better to be at least aware of what they're working on. You can tell he's like still just trying to process like what exactly this is and what it means. You can tell he's getting it, but he's like chewing on it.
mm-hmm. I mean, it seems like we have we have 4 high priority targets now. You've reported there of some of the strangest note going on in the Lamb Neck. You said it seems they're. Correct me if I'm misremembering. I might have imagined this one, but that they seem to be massing for another attack on Mountain Heart. And now
you specifically would know that.
Yeah. We now know that Kestrel has turned into some sort of armory, and Grey Forge and Belgon will pull out his own gem that he used in the fight, and Grey Forge is producing gemstones like these that are infused with magic. And 5 really, because Maranth is on. Seems they're preparing to invade Maranth.
Yeah, that we've suspected for a while. And, well, our info west of the Shadow Sets is pretty limited. They could already be in Maranth for all we know.
Well, this note seems to at least give some hope that that hasn't happened.
Yeah, or at least that there's a massive invasion on the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. We have several major objectives right now. None of which we can really do anything about in the crossing. nothing I can do about. My place is here. However, the rest of you, Belgon, you were always just someone passing in the night to begin with. Always appreciated your help, but new things always pulled you elsewhere. As far as what's the best to go after, it's hard to say. Greyforge may be difficult right now, given the climate there, as you all know. You just got out of it. Estral will be well fortified. Mountain Heart invasion is probably happening sooner rather than later. Sometime in the coming months, I would guess. And I know it may grieve you to hear this. You may have kinsmen still down there. But as far as the resistance goes, there's nothing drawing us into Mountain Heart, to pour our resources into right now. It's not something we can take and hold. Maybe slow down their invasion of it, perhaps. But it lacks a longer-term goal right now. Feasible longer-term goal. Investigating the Lamnik is close and does need further investigation. Something I would like to ask you all to do, if your direction goes one of these two ways, is give one of these arms, one of these firearms, and box of the ammunition, and one of the tool sets to a resistance engineer. We lack any in the crossing, but we have some, or at least one, in Brandy, and maybe a couple in Briarwood. So,
Got choices everywhere.
yeah, those two options could be, merely stepping stone on the way to another one. You need simply just drop it off, let our engineers try and do their work, maybe reverse engineer, turn a weapon to our side. But, if you ask me personally, if I had the means to do it, crushing that foundry in Kestrel would be huge.
We got some shit to figure out, folks.
See what I mean? See what I meant by crossroads?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You could not have.
Yeah.
You could gin up a fake encounter, a random encounter the moment we leave the crossing if we were done with the fight at like 8:05. But yeah, that was like, all right, we're gonna fight something to kill time, but that's about all I got.
We are at a crossroads. So the other thing is the Vandori. So Vandori in the crossing, or we leave and risk her getting pissed.
Well, is that a Michael or Brielle statement?
This is Michael. Brielle's the tuning. I don't know.
Okay, gotcha.
This is meta.
Well, Belgon will want to RP a little bit at some point. Meta wise.
Yeah, no, that we can RP it too.
Meta wise, she didn't say when. Like it wasn't
yeah, you're right.
It wasn't like it had to be the immediate thing. At least that's my memory of it.
No, you're right.
So I also, the Vandori thing's a great point, but I wonder if like we did one of these other things first, we could specifically ask Virgil, like, hey, can you get us more info on what's going on at the Lamnak? Because right now, isn't it just something weird's going on? We don't really know what it is, and that's kind of the end of the statement.
Virgil, I think, refrained from going into more detail with that you a little earlier when you talked with him. But he'd be willing to talk more about it now.
Yeah. What's going on in the land neck, Captain Virgil?
So, and to explain the lamb neck, I must explain why I was actually up there to begin with. Immediately after the failure in Greyforge, I was called to meet the leader of the resistance, whom we typically refer to as the Burnt One. But, so emergency meeting. I can't say everything, but she told me.
She.
Yeah. While I was there, we took a peek at what was going on at Lamnik. Took a peek at the Lamnik. They've erected some sort of shrine or temple at the center. Distracted me. Of which there are a myriad of not legionnaires patrolling the grounds there. Unarmored dragonborn, actually, dressed in robes and simple cloth. Most of which were amethyst in descent. We couldn't get too close. It wasn't our mission at the time, really. But our leader was concerned about it as well. And did want further investigation. So, to be a little more honest with you all, we had a lot of plans tied up with the success of Greyforge. With it, many things went out the window when that failed. We're having to realign our plans, come up with another grand strategy. That's why I know, Belgond, you were itching for us to do the raid on the border crossing. With the failure of that mission in Greyforge, it made that mission obsolete. We were hoping to divide up the regions into a bunch of smaller issues, problems, so they couldn't be as coordinated. But we're going to have to build back up to that. And some of these things before us right now could be the foundation, the building blocks for another such plan.
It's been a long night. Maybe could all sleep and start talking plans after we get a little rest.
Good call.
Get some rest. You've deserved it. You've earned it. And I'll try and scrounge up some pay for you all as well. You did some marvelous work in the last 24 hours.
No gold.
Yeah.
No gold. Not that we even have any.
Yeah. I'm sure that's all we have is gold. The only thing we can get easily.
I will say this before you guys jump into any other conversation. While you rest, you will ding.
Oh,
Go up.
shit.
Dang.
Did it. We did
Ding!
it. We did it.
Only took 9 sessions.
Pretty good.
I don't remember how often we leveled up in the Burt.
Who's
I
to
mean,
say?
we didn't start at level 6 though, so it's different,
No.
you know.
It also felt like it was pretty gradual.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I feel like we had some XP farming a little bit.
A little bit.
The bag of holding is now cleaned up further, FYI.
Love that.
Doing God's work.
Yep. Links are in place, most of them.
Well, leave it all to you now to discuss what your next step is.
Well, something has happened concurrently while Virgil had every ear inclined, hearing about all these possible battle options. Mimi has convinced Brielle to slip him the stone that is unidentifiable, because Mimi has some experience with stones and crystals in his background, and is investigating that pretty hard. One would say as hard as possible, because that is a big part of his vision quest.
What about his, what do we call him? PQL? Is
PQLs?
that a
Yeah.
PQL?
If they did exist, it might be one of them.
You trying to get a bottle cap?
It might be 14 of them by the time this is over. But maybe not immediately, but using the distraction of Virgil, just to see if this is one of the stones that is of great interest, since they all seem magical in nature, and this one seems more like a kind of a tougher nut to crack. But would kind of give it, a little bit, since not that anything nefarious is afoot, but just waiting for kind of that conversation to die down, and then retreat back to, uh, the book or whatever, but really be looking into that pretty harshly. I don't think identify upcast, but if it does, he'll use his highest slot, and otherwise we'll just kind of use his intuitive and historical bent to see if he's found something familiar.
Off the bat, Mimi, you definitely notice it will take time to crack this one, so to speak. But it does greatly intrigue you, and you do feel you're onto something.
I have a hypothesis or a theory.
I
How
don't
far
know.
along are we?
Uh, hypothesis. Not quite the theory.
Okay.
Something just take a little bit of time. During the rest, at some point, some point when maybe Estelle, Saber, and Emil are kind of near each other. Maybe after their, rest or during a little bit of the kind of late-ish hours of the rest, actually. You'd be approached by one of the prisoners you helped escape. It was the Drow lady, or Labyrinthian elf lady. She'll introduce herself as Nuala. I've, well, not that it's hard to notice, but a couple of you are, possible distant kinsmen of myself. Do you hail from the Labyrinthian wilds?
A long time ago, yes.
Since before the Imperium arrived?
Yeah, long before that.
Okay. So it's been a long time. So you're born there?
Yeah.
Uh, the little awkward, as just gonna come out and say this. I have traveled far from some of the innermost parts of the Labyrinthian wilds. We, shame to say, we didn't really know what was happening outside, other than that the Imperium was encroaching on the wilds, has been for years. We've been fighting very much a losing fight in there. And I came to Greyforge hoping, swallowing our pride, in a sense, that we might find assistance, only to find that it too has been conquered, along with the rest of the Vale. I just seeing you, I was. Do you know if there's a way you can, seeing as you're in with the Resistance, you can find some way to help us in the wilds? We're losing horribly. Usually the woods would protect us, but they're burning them down in swaths.
I fear that there was a lot of I guess the best way to put it, ignorance. Or, I mean, you know how Fey folk go. They are, they don't particularly care too much about this plane unless it directly affects them.
You're not wrong. Not wrong. And many of our kin that don't care have left. They left long ago. But we're finding it more difficult to leave now. For those that even want to. But
Yes,
many
it's
still fight.
yeah, I think getting back could be quite difficult. It seems that the invaders have carefully roadblocked a lot of the usual transition sites that would allow us to go back to the Fae. As for the wilds, it would be difficult, I think, to even get there, let alone help. As you saw in Greyforge, they've pretty much cordoned off the gate into the wilds, and I'm sure there are many places inside the wilds that they have also taken claim to,
They've
barricaded, as they have in the Lamb Neck.
That's very, very true. Um, they've made it as far as the shores of the innermost of the Frigid Bay. Through the wilds. We're almost at the heart.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna have enough help here to deal with that. I think we would have to lobby quite difficult, or quite harshly, I suppose, to some of the Archfey. But I fear that they won't get involved until they realize that. And I don't know if this is true, but if the invaders also seek to take on the Arch or take on the Fae and the Fae Wilds, this veil might just be the starting point. When I was in Greyforge trying to find an entrance to the Labyrinthine Wilds, it seemed like they had a way of detecting or knowing people that had a connection to the Fae.
Explains why I didn't get far, then.
You and me both.
If you do get into a position where you think you may be able to help us in the wilds, if it works, the Veil will have our aid. At least those of us that are left.
I
If our
certainly
home
think
can be saved.
I definitely think it's worth a try, and if we get into that position, I think it's one spot that we could definitely take advantage of. That was one of the things I was hoping to do, is find a way back to the Fae. And maybe there still is ways. I think the best bet would probably be in the Lamneck Woods. There is an old archfey that has been sequestered to this plane.
Really?
Who, yeah, me and her have had a couple run-ins, as have the rest of this crew here. I don't know how far she would be willing to go or what power she holds that could aid us. And that would mean owing her another favor. And I really, really don't want to do that.
Understandable, yeah. I
But it's worth asking at least.
I appreciate this. From the bottom of my heart, gone a long ways to get here. And we have a longer ways to go, probably.
Yes, this is not something that I fear will be over quickly.
No.
And the biggest question is going to be finding where we can get help to help at least stalling whatever they're planning. I think it's too soon to even consider turning the tides. I think at this point it's just a matter of slowing them down.
Well, thank you. I don't have any strategical advice, unfortunately. I was just an emissary sent and captured, and now in the middle of the Vale. There's really nowhere to go, it seems. We had no idea the Imperium had everything.
Yeah, I think you weren't alone. I don't think anybody, at least no one on this plane or no mortal knew what was about to happen. And I think even potentially the gods, maybe if they did see this, weren't in a position to stop it.
Well, I hope the gods do something soon then.
I I have a feeling they're working on something. Call it a hunch or just some intuition, but I don't think they would let the veil be taken over and just look the other way. Um, if we were to find an open gate to the Feywild, are you able to transverse it?
I should be able to. And if it's on this side of the shadow sets, I might be able to get back home quicker that way too.
I think whenever we decide to go into the Lamneck, I think you should come with us, because I think that's going to be the quickest way of attempting to get help from elsewhere. You don't have to fight, and you can stay back, but at least to be there.
Well, thank you. I might be able to give some insight on the way these transition places work. But yeah, just let me know when you're heading that way.
Yes, we will
I'll
seek
come
you
along.
out.
Name's Nuala, by the way. And you?
Oh, I guess you could have this name that most people call me here. Just Emil is fine.
Emil?
Yes.
Pleasure.
Yeah, and this here is Estelle.
Estelle? And the other Labyrinthian? Oh, Saber. Saber. Although, I
Yes.
never really grew, didn't know the wilds much. Grew up in Greyforge. Ah, well, still a pleasure. Thank you for your time. And she'll wander off.
Belle was just eating the whole time.
Scratch.
Probably introduced you in like the middle of like a big.
Yeah, that's why she didn't say anything. She was just sort of eating and listening.
Gotcha. Alright. Well, you guys are getting a bigger picture of what exactly going on in Laurel.
It all
What you-
sucks.
It all sucks. Yes.
Not exactly a surprise.
No.
All sucks for people who aren't dragons.
Yeah, why didn't I play a dragon?
Good
Heck.
question.
I don't know. Everyone could just play the Dragonborn.
We could have been on the other side, the winning side.
I
Anybody
did.
have immediate thoughts?
Normie, yeah. Go ahead.
The Lamnick's the least interesting to Belgond.
I think lamb neck would be the
Most interesting.
preferred
Yeah,
option.
especially after that last conversation.
I think the Lamnick is just the most convenient.
It's also the closest, yeah.
It's the closest. We have an outstanding debt to a hag. Don't love
Definitely
that.
most convenient. Definitely most convenient. Definitely agree on the Vandori front. Real's super compelled about Kestrel. But she can be convinced.
And I would say that Estelle would probably say Lamneck because of the connection to the resistance leader and her interest in it. What about you, Mimi?
Well, I mean, obviously the history of the academy is going to draw Mimi, and the fact that there might be more inventions there of some form or fashion. Um, but Mimi is also very much doesn't seem to be in a rush. Like even if that's the biggest priority, there's stuff to learn everywhere, and there are people to talk to everywhere along the way. And so Mimi has more of a kind of like, well, we'll go there at an appropriate time, and even if it's the place I'm looking forward to the most, there's no need to push the envelope um, and dissent from the majority, I guess. If pressed, Mimi would say that that's of the most interest, but not in a huge hurry.
Welcome. What's your preference?
Belgond has RP reasons to go to Brandy and drop meet with the engineer that Virgil referenced because of in the prisoner's log that he got off the dead dragonborn, it seemed like it was likely that a dwarf was being shipped up to Brandy. And Belgond would have very strong RP reasons to head to Kestrel and Briarwood. Because I mean, if we're going to Kestrel, to me, we might as well go to Briarwood as well to, do what Virgil asked of like, hey, can we drop a cannon off with an engineer and, yeah, there's a group of dwarves in the Briarwood tributary state that he is aware of. And if we want to RP some of that, we absolutely can. That's the Marshall meta answer. He wouldn't be tight-lipped about it. Just if we're gonna do it, let's do the actual RP versus the me.
Yeah.
I just looking at the map, I feel like the Lamneck takes us to Brandy. So we could go take care of that on our way to Brandy. Do what we gotta do there, then work our way over to Kestrel.
I think it's
Yeah,
potentially safer than running across an open field
That's
to
also
the
true.
south.
To be fair, I don't think any of this is safe. The dragons literally come on the land for
What?
sport.
Yeah,
So
You don't
Definitely
want to
not.
beeline
Yeah,
this?
but we probably can't get dive bombed by a giant dragon in the woods. Could be wrong, but it's less likely than.
Do we know what's going on at Bray?
Bray. Between Virgil, Belgond, and a little bit of Emil, they would be able to piece together basically that Fort Bray is one of the Sapphire Legion's holds in the Vale, and it's likely their staging ground for the next invasion of Mountain Heart.
My only hesitance towards going that direction is just Brandy puts us kind of in no man's land to some extent. Like it's Brandy's not on the way to anything necessarily. It's just like a drop off destination for something. Obviously, I'm sure more doors open up no matter where we go. From a meta perspective. And
Michael
Brielle
would
doesn't
know.
have.
what's that?
Said Michael would know.
Yeah.
Being a DM, he's like, oh yeah, they go here, all these doors were open. They go here, all these
Mhm.
doors open.
Yeah, there's doors everywhere, hooks everywhere. From I mean, Brielle's perspective is her biggest worry is her biggest thing that she wants to prevent is the expansion of um, Celos. Like she fears that, and she's vocal about that. Like the thing that's got her most interested in what we're doing is the fact that they are like, we're gonna go take Moran. Like so this expansion mindset, and she thinks the best way for that to be stopped is Kestrel, because apparently these weapons are powerful. But she sees the benefit in going through the Lamnic, wrapping up things while we're already here, and then moving on. That makes sense. So I won't argue it.
Emil,
Yeah.
do we?
Mhm.
Emil, you've been with Van Dory or connected to her for quite some time. Do we think we can actually truly be free of her, or is there always going to be something else? That's not a loaded question. It's meant to be an honest one. You're the only one who knows Van Dory, so if
There's always a silver lining somewhere when dealing with an archfey, and probably her specifically. She may surprise us, but I feel like there's always going to be some string attached between all of you and her, regardless of how successful we are with the Lamneck. However, I think Brielle, your concerns about wanting to stop the spread, I think are correct. But I don't think this is something that we alone are going to do, and I don't think just going to Kestrel and stopping their weapon shipments is going to do it. I don't think the resistance is going to be able to do this either. I think the best bet we have is getting help from people that haven't yet been invaded yet. And I think that potentially is getting help from the Feywild and seeing if one of these resistance factions have any kind of connection to Krazik. And maybe there's a way to warn Moranth too somewhere in here.
And so your Mountain Heart remains unconquered, and so does Moranth.
Yeah, and I truly don't feel that, if it takes us a week or two to go through the Lamb Neck, get to Bray, or not Bray, get to Brandy. Like, yeah, they'll still probably be manufacturing those weapons, but I don't think that's the tipping point. I don't feel like 2, 3, 4 weeks is long enough for them to distribute enough of those weapons to tip the scales so far in their favor that it can't be tipped back. And
I
those
know
weapons,
you.
as powerful as those weapons are, they do have limits. So they're not invincible. They're not spells, but they are definitely something to be worried about. They're also something that potentially, with enough time and enough reverse engineering, if the resistance can do that, then if the resistance has them too, it potentially helps even the playing field a little bit further. Yes, Estelle.
No, that's what I was going to say as well. The sooner we can get, some of these to the resistance, the sooner they can try and develop defense. Because you know as well as I do, these will take special defense. And without it, it could spell real trouble.
There's a potential contact, Brandy.
But Virgil said,
Yeah, Virgil said it, I'm sure, once we get close. I spent time with the faction from the resistance up around Brandy. So I should be able to look, well, I guess I know where their base is. So we should be able to meet with. Oh, damn it. What was his name? Little Halfly Man.
Oh, it's probably like Sir Carwin or something. I don't know. I thought I
Yeah,
heard someone
yeah.
say that.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, Sir Carwin. That was who it was.
Have a good memory.
You would actually know he's referred to as Lord Carwin now.
Well, he might be a lord now, but I knew it well.
He's probably like level 13 by now.
Yeah, Carwin. Yeah.
What level up?
yeah, literally just one.
But yes, there's definitely some contacts up there that we can get in touch with and resupply, and perhaps they have a different view of what's happening with them being isolated more up to the north. Perhaps they have information about Mountain Heart or what's been going on in Greyforge since we were removed. Or what's going on in Bray.
Yeah, I mean, if Bray is a staging point for the Mountain Heart or Moranth invasions, there's something to that. man. I'm sure this is meta. I'm sure this is just unfair scar tissue from the burnt. But I feel like the lamb neck is just a cesspool. Like it's just a
Scary,
cesspool
man.
where nothing good happens and why
Hey,
would
you guys dominated. You guys dominated when you were in that place.
Remember when you had Dyson and you guys wrecked
0
everything?
losses. 0 losses in the lamb neck, I would say.
Yeah, there was that one fight that Dyson and Xerxes were just popping off at range, killed everything.
Beautiful.
There's also that one time when you guys infiltrated an entire like
Fort.
castle fort.
Yeah.
Bypassed everything.
I passed all the bad guys. I passed the Vorpal sword.
Of course.
Straight
Maybe
in.
a key NPC.
I passed Karai
Yeah.
and jumped
Bird-
backwards in time.
Virgil, if we go to lamb neck, what are y'all gonna do?
I'm gonna lie low for a little bit. We've stirred enough trouble the last couple days. But soon enough, we'll go back to our old antics. Taking this, disrupting that. It's what we do best. You know our goal here was never to take the crossing, right? We
Just want
took
to
the...
live free, Virgil.
I'm tired of living in caves, trust me.
When you've lived in caves as long as I have, then you can talk.
I wasn't made for the caves like you.
Sir.
Wish for the days I could walk the Lamnik freely again. Back when there was only one dragon.
Hard to imagine.
Just one, right? Did you know there was a time they were practically gone
Sounds manageable.
in Laurel? Just nowhere. None of them.
Can we time travel? Do we know a guy?
I don't. I'll let you know if I find one, though.
Please do. Belgon will share that he definitely can support going through the lamb neck and especially dropping off the cannon with the engineer. Obviously that's super important. Needing to be able to reverse engineer or maybe figure out how we can start manufacturing some of our own, but just as a word of warning, not trying to be manipulative or force anyone's hand, but if we make it to Brandy and get that close to Mountain Heart, I find it hard to imagine my path could lead anywhere but Mountain Heart next. Obviously that's a ways off, but I was actually born in Mountain Heart. My full name is Belgon Earthborn, and the heart of the mountain resides within my body, and I don't think I can get that close to the halls of my father, and not see what has become of them. So, like I said, that's a ways off. Not trying to force this group's hand, but just want y'all to know where my head's at if we get that close to the shoulders of the mountain. That I'll need to. I'll need to see what has become of my kin. It's been. What year is it again? Croft. It's 1509.
Yeah, sorry, I needed 1509, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. It's been 33 years. Or I've been alive for 33 years, and it's been 13 years since I've been inside the walls of my city and my people, and yeah, I yearn to know what has become of their fate.
It could be a place that we could find safe haven, potentially.
I won't lie to you, Brielle. Probably not. I along with around 25 of us 13 years ago managed to escape the walls of the city. We we were long besieged, both from above and below. For below, and I'll pull out the book that Mimi very thankfully recovered from the prison caravan, and just kind of say it. I myself have never seen it, but this chronicles the entirety of the Earthborns. For my father was King Stenegrim Earthborn, Slayer of Giants, Defender of the Vale, and Heart of the Mountain. I am his son, and hope one day to get to reclaim our birthright and our home. But there, as for safe haven, I do not know. My father wrote and told us about a great evil that approached us from below. We, for many long years, we dug, and we tried to find a way north. A passage through the labyrinthian wilds to reach the frigid bays and to expand our kingdom. And there was something that destroyed us. I never saw it, but specifically there was one night where half our people died in their sleep. How or why, we never knew. But my father wrote of walking brains, of these just monstrous evil creatures that would spring up from every crevasse and corner. They turned some of our own people against us, and yeah, I know, because this I did see, as we managed to enclose ourselves in kind of a last corner of the city, as we were being just hemmed further and further in. But the Dragonborn, we watched as they had to fight these creatures as well, and were driven back. So, as much as I would love to claim it is some great triumph of dwarven strength that has kept Mountain Heart unconquered for so long, some of that is true, for we certainly crossed swords with them, but I think that the evil that lurks beneath also has some credit over what what kept it to be an unconquered place. So when I last saw my father 13 years ago, he and the last 80 or so of our folk vowed to hold on as long as they could, and to the very core of my marrow do I desire to know what became of his fate.
Perhaps they hold the city still.
That would be a joy that yeah, like Belgon will get a little teary. That is, I dare not let myself feel. For in the tome of the mountain, if, as you will. There are stories that I have long studied and long been told, but there was, I mentioned already, something called the Ulfried Stone that we found while delving deep beneath the shadow sets. That, like I said, allowed our sorcerers and our wizards to amplify their magic, and it was because of these heroes that Tharkun the Wise, Gunlock Giantsbane, Herdan Holvram, Canlo the Elder, and Dwalin Stormbringer. Those names are etched on the heart of every remaining dwarf who managed to escape, because it was through their sacrifice that they created a magical barrier that allowed us to survive so long while the dragons approached from above and the evil approached from below. And
Nate loves NPCs, baby.
They're dead. They're very dead.
Dvalin was dead once.
Yeah. Not Dvalin.
Is the relation? Who knows?
Who knows? They sacrificed themselves to create this magical barrier, and it's only because this barrier began to fail that me and 24 other dwarves were able to make our escape 13 years ago. So, well, I hope beyond hope that my father still lives and holds some sanctuary down beneath the ground. I fear what we will find down there. It could be so are most of your rabbits. That's amazing. I fear what the truth is. The fact that the evil has not spread above the ground certainly gives me hope that it hasn't gotten worse, but who knows? Perhaps it is just dormant and resting for someone to awake it again. So, as for why I, initially would rather go to Briarwood and Kestrel, we have begun the great work again. Those of us who escaped, we made our way south over the last few years, and have tried to gather all our kinsmen. Word of any dwarf is worth a trip, a recruiting mission to try and regather our numbers so that we can one day either find a new home and rebuild our people, or if Ulfried wills it, Ulfried be praised, that one day we can reclaim our ancient homeland.
Virgil, well, speak up. It's a righteous goal, Belgond. I've known you for a few years. You've always struck me. Someone, bigger plans, bigger goals at least. Perhaps one day you and I both can go back to our homes when the dragons are defeated.
Forward to the day. Amnek, it seems, where the direction this party is heading.
Good with Lamnick. Lamnick to Brandy, and if Brandy leads us to Mountain Heart, I don't see why not. See what's happening there. See if there's any, like, if there's potential for there to be, dwarves there.
Yeah. And like I said, like I'll kind of look directly at Estelle and Saber. I know y'all hail from Greyforge, and certainly don't want to pull you or anyone else away from your homes or your goals or what you hope to accomplish. So, by no means am I trying to dictate or force anyone's hand. I just felt important that y'all knew where my heart lied. For as my father often would say, our forge lights the fires of this land, and while the forge is at best a dull ember, I hope to one day relight it anew, and to be so close. The closest I'll have been in many a year. Feels like Ulfried's will would be guiding me to at least ascertain the fate of my father and my kin.
Oh, I didn't take it as, forcing her hand at all.
Yeah.
Truthfully, there's currently no reason for us to return to Great Forge at this time. We'll eventually need to take it back, of course, reinstate the queen, all those things. But currently, we need to gather more information. We need to gather more allies, and we need to kill as many Dragonborn as we can.
Hell yeah.
And like, there's something to be said.
First,
that if the Dragonborn are
Ilgon's gonna
taking,
try and like shoot off a gun, but can't figure out how to do it, and it just doesn't go well. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt, but like,
no, if there's something to be said if the Dragonborn aren't like, if they fear Mountain Heart, or if they're not going there, like, there's something to be said for at least learning something. Like, while there's hope that it's the dwarves that are holding it off, and that this threat from below is nigh and not happening anymore, but like, even if there is this threat, there's something to be said for learning about why the Dragonborn. That's one place in the Vale they haven't taken. So I think that keeping that on the like Lamnick, Brandy, keeping Mountain Heart in that position, unless we get forced to go elsewhere.
Yeah,
I think that is. It doesn't seem crazy.
And specifically to Brielle and Mimi, but any of y'all, Brielle and Mimi, I know y'all love books. I would, if y'all have any interest, I would be honored if you'd take a look at the tome of my people. At the very least,
Mimi takes
should
it
I fall?
After all, you're best friends.
Yeah,
Mimi's reading 2 books at once, just like
yeah. At the very least, should I fall in battle, I'd ask y'all to take it with you to Briarwood. should your path ever lead you there. So that way that my people can know of my fate and find a new bloodline to lead our people into the next chapter of Dwarven history.
Good books have a soul of their own. They can inspire the same, sometimes better, than flesh. You're not going anywhere anytime soon, but we'll make sure it get where it needs to go if that's the case.
Well, sounds like y'all are decided. Through the Lamnick, up to Brandy, general path.
Oh, yeah.
Think so.
Locked and loaded. Not that Brielle knows what that means.
She will soon.
She will soon.
Oh, these things are as tall as
Nice.
UPL.
They probably are. They're probably taller.
Are you 5 foot?
5'3".
A little bit taller. These are 5 foot
Hey.
long.
Hell yeah, let's go.
Big guns. I am definitely going to leave the guns and the gems.
As you should.
Yeah, not getting rid of that.
For any of you
It's
who
too
want to
good.
the Tome of the Mountain, you should find it in your emails now.
Ooh, hell yeah.
Good read.
Meta-wise, we're leveling.
Yep.
Yes. Do you want to roll hit die?
That, and I just, curious about my spell people. Which directions we're thinking of going.
We don't have any straight like non-multi-class, do we? Oh, Nate, you just went straight rogue. Nice.
Yes, sir.
Everyone else is multi-classing, I guess.
I need the sneak attack die. And my level 9 ability.
Getting closer.
I do get
Slowly but surely.
second attack finally.
Oh
So let's go.
boy.
Multi-attack, baby.
If I take Paladin, I get that as well.
Choices,
Just have I get a new spell, and I'm like, do I take control spell? I guess I'm a bard. Probably my best option.
I get Misty Step, and that's all I care about because that solves a massive transportation issue that I've been having.
I'll put it out there. I don't really want to take Liamon's tiny hut. Are we cool with that?
I mean, we're
Do you want me to ban it?
That's it, we ball.
Just I
Skip
don't
it.
want to take it.
Don't take it.
I'm clearly in the minority who wants to tell you to take it.
Michael,
It's more interesting just not to have it.
Michael, you're after my own heart.
I'd rather take like hypnotic pattern or something useful in a fight.
Lucas had hypnotic pattern. It was sick.
Yeah, sir, used it a couple times. Problem is, it affects
There's
everybody.
also there's also like slow, I think, which also probably affects everybody. But
Slow wins you
I don't.
fight.
I can't fireball things yet. So like stealing.
Don't have those magical secrets.
Mm.
Well, I can evade things now, so
That's
suck
awesome.
it.
So
Stab
you're
things
back-
a little
you're
bit
back-
harder.
You're back to taking zeros of damage.
Correct.
Love that.
Hell yeah.
When those dragon breaths come around.
Will be nice to have with my +10 to dex saves already.
Ooh. But through all the dragon breaths, force dex saves?
Ooh, good question.
Good
Mm.
question.
We don't know yet.
Not anymore.
Yeah, who's
Sure, the psychic,
that answered,
ones
Yeah.
probably don't.
that answered that question.
And if they do, that's dumb. The psychic ones.
Yeah, for real.
But even if it was like a cloud of
Death.
electricity, you would think. Yeah, cloud of death. You'd still have to physically avoid it. It's not like you just sit there and be like, "Oh God."
Unless it's like a burst that goes out everywhere, then you like, so like a psychic one, you'd have to like mentally avoid it with your brain.
That would make sense. I mean, I guess you're right. If you would have to have a Constitution check if it just literally went everywhere and you're unable to avoid it.
Yeah, I feel like sucked your life essence away.
Don't mind me. I'm just checking all the dragon saves. Oh, interesting. Very interesting.
What are my
I need
chances
a-
of finding a rapier and a shield,
Done.
like a buckler?
Yeah, basic arms. The resistance could provide.
How do you feel about a +3 shield?
No.
Okay, well, it was in the compendium. I figured I'd ask.
You can always try.
What about Captain Hop's rapier that also did like 3d6 to undead?
Mhm.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. They'll just
Yeah, can we do that to dragons?
So
yeah,
many
just,
undead.
just
I'm
won't be any
sure.
undead.
Dragon's Bane.
I don't know.
Can we,
Maybe it exists. Maybe it doesn't.
can we go ahead and just get to level 8? Because I think that's when Belgon really starts to come online. Like,
Ask me again in like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you leave for Mountain Heart.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
you're
we go the other
leaving?
direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was a good time to level.
Bellgun's level 8, riding off into the sunset.
See ya.
All right,
Um,
I roll a hit die.
Has anybody opened the Tome of the Mountain yet? It used
I
up
have not.
all of the memory on my phone.
Wow.
Oh, it's a PDF.
It's a
I made it a
beast.
PDF. Yeah.
It is a
Ah,
I opened it.
beast. Like it's a real
It's
book.
like it's like 8 pages in. This thing's long.
It may be
Sorry.
5,000 words.
that's a good length.
I admit there's a reason, Nate, that I was so insistent on like that book Mimi picked up. Otherwise, Belgon's dropping
It
dead,
burned.
and I am making a new character right now because I will rage quit this instant.
Crop, can you roll a d8 for me?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can roll a d8 for you. Yeah, absolutely.
Come on, 7, at least 7. Okay, that's bullshit.
Ooh,
It's
Sorry.
not help me.
sorry.
Emil's turn. Come on, Emil.
Emil, a d10?
Come on. 10.
Okay.
Croft,
Wow,
what are
you
you
suck.
doing?
A
Croft, help me,
d8? A
please.
d8?
Croft, please, yes.
Oh, boy.
After seeing those crappy rolls, can I just wait till next week?
Yeah, as long as you remember.
I will.
Hey, he helped me.
If you want to wait 2 will, you can.
They're probably both multi-classing. Is probably why they don't want to roll, because we know when they both roll d12s, they're like, oh, barbarian multi-class, nice.
I don't think either of them took Barb. I'd be wrong.
No, multi-class barb. Why not? All right, I'm leveled. Done.
I don't think my proficiency bonus goes up or sneak
It
attack.
doesn't. Nothing happens.
Nope.
It's a pretty
Not
crappy
7.
roll.
You get what? Another sneak attack die and evasion?
Yeah, you get something.
You get sneak attack die on odd levels, I think.
Yeah, you get a sneak attack die, 46 now,
Yeah.
and evasion, and that's it.
All right. 4d6.
I got extra attack, so I'm stoked. And
How
I'm
much,
taking hypnotic pattern, so
How many hit die do I regain on this rest?
I was about to ask. We were in a safe place, right? So we get half back.
Yeah. Halfback.
Cool.
Cool. All right. Till next week.
Later, Preston.
Thanks, Preston. See ya. Have a
Uh-huh.
good night.
Can I just say that having the
balloons for you.
Woo,
now
balloons!
2014 and 2024 like compendia stuff is really confusing and annoying.
Is it? I haven't really looked through. Is this in the
Well-
Roll20 compendium?
Yeah, because I just tried to drag in a new spell, and there's both versions, and I just grabbed the 2024, and Roll20 said, "Hey, looks like you tried to do a version of this that your character sheet doesn't support. You'd have to switch to the updated character sheet. Get it?" It's like,
I wonder if there's a way I
okay.
can disable it.
Yeah, they should just not show you that shit.
Exactly. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what, like, I don't need the 2024 version. I just don't want to have to, read the fine
You probably-
print every time.
You probably can't disable it because they probably want people to see that because they want people to want to update, probably.
Oh, Roll20, you've been doing so well lately. You gotta do something like this now.
Yeah.
Oh, they had a really good, like, whatever the highest subscription reward was, like a month ago. I don't know if you saw that, Michael. It was a shit ton of maps.
Oh yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
It's cool. I mean, like that stuff is so useful.
Yeah, and it was like,
Whenever
it wasn't
it's
like whole maps, it
great.
was like pieces of maps that you could mish and mash together.
That's cool.
So,
Wilderness, 164 terrain tokens, 121 maps was the last one. So
it's a good one.
that is useful. I haven't looked at it yet, but claimed. Unclaimed it. Through the Lamnic Woods we go.
Now that
Where have
we're
we done this before?
off script, I'm thinking, first of all, every time we go to Mountain Heart, it's a colossal failure, and we're lucky to get it alive. And
Yeah.
2, really, we're going to go to the place that the Dragonborn can't conquer? Like, they walked into Greyforge like it was the 96 bulls against, you know?
Or the 2025 Chiefs.
Yeah.
They did hit us with a nuke,
Yeah.
though,
That is true.
to be fair.
We don't necessarily have to go into Great Forge. We might be able to get ideas from just looking, potentially. I think it
Am I
really just
crazy?
depends what we find.
Did you mean to say Mountain Heart?
Yep, that's the word.
I thought Mountain Heart was dead. I thought it was all dead people and mind flayers. Like that. I don't know where I came up with that idea, but
No, that's not crazy for you to think that.
No, that's,
Okay.
yeah.
just double check it.
You just
Some-
didn't have this information.
Correct.
Yeah.
Some might say that Marshall asked, "Hey, could there be one last holdout of an Alamo in Mountain Heart that entire time?" And Michael's like, "It could happen," and Croft's like, "I'm fine with it." It's like, it's happening now.